wrong. Lord, oh Lord, I want to help somebody. I cannot afford to be selfish, Lord. That's my request, please help me to help somebody.
Good morning, cherished listeners of Real FM. This is Corporal Mitchell, your host for today's program. I trust this message finds you well and in good spirits. Let's take a moment to express our gratitude to the Almighty for blessing us with another wonderful day. Warm welcome to all the staff and every individual tuning in today. I'm thrilled to be your host, and we have a great session lined up for you. So sit back, relax, and let's make the most of our time together on Real FM. Ladies and gentlemen, today's focus on Real FM is a matter of great importance that touches each one of us. The topic of motor vehicular accidents. It's a discussion that resonates deeply as we collectively strive for safer roads and a secure community. In the next segment, we will be delving into the intricacies of motor vehicular accidents, aiming to raise awareness, share insights, and foster a greater understanding of the measures we can take to make our roads safer for everyone. Stay with us as we navigate through this crucial subject on Real FM. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a privilege to have a distinguished guest with us today on Real FM. We are honored to welcome a seasoned professional in the field of traffic management, a man whose dedication to road safety spans an impressive 30 years. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Corporal DeBellot. With a wealth of experience in the traffic department, Corporal DeBellot brings a depth of knowledge that is unparalleled. His commitment to ensuring the safety of our roads and community is truly commendable. Corporal DeBellot, thank you for gracing us with your presence today. Could you share a few words with our listeners about your extensive experience and the vital role you played in the realm of traffic management over the years?
Yes, thank you, Corporal Mitchell. A pleasant good morning to everyone, the listening audience of Real FM 91.9. Thank you for the opportunity this morning, for having me as your guest this morning to speak on most important thing, traffic and accident and so forth. So this morning I'm privileged to be here with you. As you say, this what you mentioned about me is quite true. 30 years of traffic accident and management in the traffic. So I've been 30 years experience, and I've been in the RGPF for 32 years now, and I've been posted at traffic department for the past 30 years. So I could proudly say that I'm the longest serving traffic officer in the RGPF today. So thank you this morning for having me present with you.
So there you hear it from him, our listeners of Real FM, motor vehicle accidents in Grenada. Now let's shine a light on a critical aspect of our daily lives. Motor vehicle accidents in Grenada. Understanding the factors involved is key to fostering a safer driving environment for all of us. To start off, let's get a clear understanding of what we're talking about. Right? How do we define motor vehicle accidents, especially in the context of Grenada? Corporal DeBellot.
All right, so thank you. When we speak of accident, we're speaking definitely of a motor vehicle accident. We look at what does the law requires and so forth. The law in itself does not have a definition of an accident. But if we can look at what the law requires for we to deem incident as a motor vehicle accident, there are some things that we must look at. And we come up with a definition for accident. And as we say, it's an accident is a collision between two or more motor vehicles, or an impact by any motor vehicle with an object whereby damage, injury, or loss of life is caused. To break it down a little more, we look at three major components there: damages, injuries, or loss of life. So one or three of these components must exist in order for we to deem incident as a motor vehicle accident. Okay.
All right.
So
Thank you.
we'll look at this later on as we move on.
Yes, very well said. Now that we have established the definition, let's explore the various scenarios that can unfold on our roads, right? What are the common types of motor vehicle accidents that occur in Grenada, and how do they differ?
Okay, we categorize accident in three different categories. We look at minor accidents, serious accident, and fatal accident. And in a minor accident, we look at where there is minor damages to properties. So I wouldn't say motor vehicle, but minor damages to property or vehicle. When we look at a serious accident, we look at serious injuries or major damages, such as a vehicle might be written off, and so. And fatal accident, well, it speaks for itself, where we have death or so. And in a serious accident, as we define, close call, meaning that it is much more serious than just as what we deem as a serious injury, such as a broken leg and so forth. We deem as a serious, but it's maybe not life-threatening. So we have close calls where somebody might be in unconscious or so forth and in a critical condition. So we categorize the accident as minor, serious, or fatal. That's the three categories of accident we have in our state. Okay.
All right, so our listeners, there you heard it from Corporal DeBellot. All right, now let's uncover the underlying causes that can contribute to these accidents, right? So what are the primary factors or behaviors that lead to motor vehicle accidents in Grenada?
Right. So we have, when we speak of accident, and so we have a lot of things that would cause a motor vehicle accident. And we may not go depth into what the majority of the causes are. But we can look at just a few things that may cause accident, such as one, we look at speeding. And this is one of our major challenge sometimes. When you look at accident or our state, most of the accidents are caused sometimes by speeding. When in excessive speed, one may not be able to control that motor vehicle, so then it may lead to an accident. And we look at some of the most serious accidents. We could determine, therefore, then speeding is one of the major causes in most of the serious accidents. Some of the minor accidents you may have causes such as the use of cell phones, and so people may not be paying heed to warning signs, and so we have traffic lights signal people may violate, and most of the time is violation of these offenses and lead to accident. For instance, we have defects in vehicles, defective tires, defect in the mechanical system of the vehicle, and if we're not paying attention to some of these warning signs, these may lead to accidents sometimes. And sometimes we tend to forget some of these important things, like to check our tires, make sure we have the engine check, and because of the inspection of the vehicle, then you will see the inspector will looking for all of such little things, and we might think that is very, very minor, so that we may not able to pay attention to it much. But it is important. It is important to have checked in your motor vehicle, because some of these small things that we ignore could lead to accidents sometimes.
Very well said.
Yes.
So we realize that prevention is key, right?
Yes, we need to take preventive measures early and so forth. Pay attention to a lot of the warning signs and so in our vehicles. Yes.
So let's discuss the immediate actions drivers should take when faced with an accident, all right? So we know from time to time we have motor vehicle accidents and you are being called on the scene, and the police would have to attend to these matters. So what are the critical steps drivers should take at the scene of an accident to ensure safety and proper resolutions?
Okay, well, I like how you put it, because a lot of times drivers involved in accident, and sometimes for the first time, it become a panic mood for most drivers, especially ladies. For the first time involved in an accident, they get panicked, does not know what to do, and a lot of things happen. So I'll explain what is the duty, I would say, according to the Road Traffic Act, what someone should do having involved in a motor vehicle accident. Okay, so the Road Traffic Act specifies some of the duties or what a driver should do having involved in a motor vehicle accident. And it said that if, owing to the presence of a motor vehicle on any public road, an accident occurred, therefore the driver should first immediately stop. So that's the first thing they should do, immediately stop that vehicle. Then the law requires you to do some other things, such as give the name of the insurance to any person that having reasonable grounds for obtaining this information. So the other driver is a reasonable person to having obtain this information from you, such as the insurance, the name of the insurance company, the persons in the vehicle, if you have any injuries, the name of the person that is injured, or the injured person are required to have the name of the driver of the other vehicle, and so the law requires that you should first stop the vehicle immediately, give the name of the insurance company to, or the owner of the vehicle, the driver, to any person having reasonable ground for obtaining this information. That's two. Thirdly, the law requires that you should report that accident to a police station as soon as reasonably practicable, meaning that as soon as you can, you have to report that accident to a police station. And it says that is no later than at least 24 hours. So you have 24 hours which to report an accident, and anything after that, if it's after the 24 hours, then it constitutes an offense. So you can be then charged for failing to report an accident within that 24-hour period. But the law requires that you should report the accident as soon as reasonably practicable. All right. So firstly, as we say, once you're involved in a motor vehicle accident, you should stop immediately, even if it's to stop and impact with other vehicle, or even an impact with other object, as we clearly define, or even impact on maybe other people's property, private property, and so you should stop that vehicle immediately. Okay, first of all, and then we go on that anybody having reasonable ground to obtain such information from you as a driver, you are required by law to give them that information. Then to report the accident to a police station within that specific 24 hours. Okay, so that's the requirements of one involving in accident, and so.
All right, so listeners, there you heard it from Corporal DeBellot, and as I said earlier, a man that is filled with a wealth of knowledge. So it is essential to remember also, listeners, that accidents can happen to everyone, right, Corporal?
Yes, accident happen to anyone.
Can make a significant difference. So stay tuned as we continue on our topic of motor vehicular accidents. Building on the role of law enforcement is delve deeper into the involvement in managing accidents. How do the police contribute to handling motor vehicle accidents in Grenada, and what role do they play in investigation?
Well, the police are solely responsible for investigation. The investigation, just as in any other crime, the police are responsible for investigation. Although the insurance companies sometimes have their own private investigators in accident, because you have to take in consideration when you look at accident, the insurance is more important in terms of compensation and so forth, because during accident you may have large sum of money to compensate, and so that's why it's so important, and the law requires that everybody should have an insurance policy, because when you look at the large sum that may have to compensate in other person, and so you must have that insurance in force. So the police now is the one that are responsible for the investigation of the accident, according to from as we put, the commissioner of police therefore is the one to bring forth any charges resulting in motor vehicle accident. Charges and so forth has been brought by the commissioner of police. So therefore the police are responsible for the investigation to see there is any infraction of the law, to see maybe the direct cause of the accident and so forth. And then we the police now will provide insurance reports. So the insurance will depend on the police for a comprehensive report upon that motor vehicle accident. So as we say, if it was not reported to the police, therefore you may not be able to get compensation from the insurance companies, and so it's very important that the police now has been called on the scene and to commence investigation for that accident. Okay.
Yes. All right. So creating awareness is crucial for preventing accidents. So let's discuss how we can actively engage our community in promoting safe driving. What strategies can be employed to raise awareness about safe driving practices within our local communities?
Okay, as you said, there are practices. Well, in terms of safetiness, we must practice all measure of safetiness when the use of our public road. And as I mentioned, the fact that public road, I would like to bring in something there as important, not moving away from your question, but in terms of our public road. The law has defined road in Grenada to mean, our public road to mean that any road, any bridge, any open space, any privately owned road, any privately owned space to which the public is granted access, whether temporarily or permanently. Okay, this now is considered to be the public road. So, should an accident occur in a pasture, as we say, a playing field, at that time, that playing field would be a public road under the law. But it will be, as it defined, we say an open space. So it will be definitely in an open space which the public is being granted access, it become a public road. So should accident happen in privately owned road, in space where the public has been granted access, therefore it must be reported to the police then. But as we go back to, as you mentioned, safety measures, a lot of times we look at some of the minor offenses, such as the use of cell phone while driving, the use of cell phone. And we may look at it as not being so serious, but it distracts drivers at a point. You may get certain call on the phone, and by the time what you heard on the other line might just distract you. You might even forget that you were driving, and then you could have accidents and so forth. Maybe the use of safety use of pedestrian, because you may have pedestrian even likely to cause accident. Because if you didn't use a pedestrian crossing properly, then you give the driver little time to think or space to react upon that. So you may have cause of accident. We have maybe there is one offense under the law which say driving without reasonable consideration for other persons using the road. And these offenses happen regularly. And even unnoticed sometimes to other persons who may be not aware of it, these offenses sometimes happen. In fact, if you are driving on a rainy day, or maybe it's a sunny day, or the rain just fell, and there's a pothole with water, and you just come and somebody just walking by that pothole, and you may splash that water up on that person. It can be considered as you driving without reasonable consideration for other persons using the road, because the use of the road is for everybody, the motoring public, the pedestrian, even animals and so forth. The use of the public road is for such. Okay, so we must have consideration for persons using the road at the time, even if drivers failing to dip light at night and so forth. This could be considered as not having reasonable consideration for other persons and so. So a lot of the safety measures that we can put in place, not put in place, but we can act upon to reduce the major causes sometimes of the accident in our state.
And one of the things you spoke about, we see that from time to time, that the rain will fall and you will see that vehicle passing with that such amount of speed and just splash up the water on persons and wouldn't even stop or
right.
so. And
yes.
This is very, very, critical.
Yeah, it can be reported to the police.
I didn't know
it can be reported.
That it was driving without
reasonable consideration. Yes, and it covers the same section as driving without due care and attention.
Right.
Because section 57 covers driving without due care and attention, also driving without reasonable consideration. So you see that section covers the two offenses for one section. So you see how serious it is. And they may carry the same penalty as due care and attention and reasonable consideration. So the law deemed very, very, very serious for these two offenses.
Right, especially the cell phone, as you mentioned
yes.
earlier, because so many times we're noticing that the drivers especially, the phone will ring and you will see they have that phone in the
Yes, and most of the time you're driving, you observe drivers, and it's very important to pay attention to some of these measures that would reduce risk of accident and so.
Yes, so listeners, prevention is the ultimate goal, and we will just go into what steps can be taken proactively to reduce the overall number of accidents in Grenada, right? So how can Grenada take steps to reduce the frequency of motor vehicle accidents, considering both short-term and long-term measures, Corporal?
Yes, we must pay attention to our vehicle. Mm-hmm. The vehicle is your tools for movements and so forth. So we must pay attention to the vehicle. You must know the defect. Know if you have defect in the vehicle. Mm-hmm. You must service your vehicle, as we say, on time. And it is important to because the manufacturer would give you specific terms of the vehicle, maybe service every 6 months, change brakes, change oil, change whatever the instructions are. We must pay attention to these instructions and so forth on our vehicle, and especially warning signs. We must pay attention to warning signs of the vehicle. Yes, because you may drive in your vehicle, and a lot of times everything that would happen to that motor vehicle may give you a warning. Right. And a lot of times we take this thing for granted that we can do it, we can continue with whatever the signs are and so forth. And then this will lead to a defect later on, and it may lead to accident as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I believe we can. You to correct fault. You may know that your vehicle may one brakes. You might say, okay, next 2 weeks I'll change our brakes. Maybe economical wise, you can't do it now. But it's important when these things, this warning signs comes up on the vehicle, that you pay attention and you take action on it. Try to get it rectified, because at any time things could give up on the vehicle. So we must pay attention to the warning signs and so forth in our vehicle.
Right.
Okay.
What's about enforcing the laws?
Right. The enforcement of law. Well, it's on the RGPF now. As we say, the traffic management, the police now has to enforce certain laws. And sometimes the police themselves, we ourselves might put some signs up, for instance, closure of roads and so forth. And some people might just think that I could take a chance and go manipulate. And there you fail to obey that warning signs and so forth, and it could create accident. It could create serious injury to you or other persons using the road, because you may not know why the road is closed, and then you will take a chance. You think that you could just close, you could just go ahead and fail to obey the signs and so forth. Even the traffic light signs, this signal and so forth. I see this create very, very serious accident already. People failing to obey signs and so forth, warning signs erected by the police and so. So we must pay attention to warnings, whether signs in the vehicle or other warning signs that is erected by maybe the police or other persons that have authority to for such. Yes.
All right, and thank you so much for sharing this bit of information this morning. It is crucial. And to our listeners, you're hearing from Corporal DeBellot. And we will go exactly into, are there particular locations on the island, Corporal, where accidents tend to occur more frequently? And what factors you may believe contribute, or you can say, contribute to this trend?
Well, if we look at our statistic, I would be able to speak on maybe the Western Division in where I touch present. And if we look at the statistics of the location of accident for this January and February month, we see that we have a lot of accident in Guave, in the tongue. And we do have an increase in accident for the month of January. I think, I didn't come with the record, but from my recall is 33 accident. We had 3 serious accidents reported for January month. February we had a decline where we had I think it's about 23. But when you look at the areas in which this accident happened, for January month, out of that 33 within the whole division, I think Guave has about 17, and it more or less within the tongue. We look at the different street within the tongue of Guave. We have some of this accident reported. We had maybe about 2 out of the tongue, 2 or 3, but within the tongue we have the majority of accident. And we were looking at really what could be the main causes of that accident within the tongue area, because we do have speed limit in our tongue, which is 20 miles per hour in any tongue. So I don't think speeding is a major contribution to this accident. Maybe we can look at maybe alcohol, use of alcohol, maybe cell phone, or just minor failing to driving without due attention or reasonable consideration sometimes. So we are looking at it in terms of the location and how we're able to manage this and how to reduce such accident in such areas. Okay. Throughout this trial and state, I haven't done the stats, or it was not given to me as yet to determine throughout Grenada where and the location of the major accident and so forth. But as the year just started, we definitely going to look into that and create some data as to manage this accident and so.
Thank you for your emphasis on this particular topic. And if you are now joining us, listeners, welcome this morning once again to Beyond the Badge. We are listening to Corporal DeBellot. He's speaking to us here on the importance of motor vehicular accidents here. And we will go straight into technology, Corporal. We know technology is a powerful tool, right? Mm-hmm. It advances, it can contribute, it can reduce in some ways or the other accidents, right? So I'll ask this morning, what role can technological innovation play in enhancing road safety and reducing the number of accidents in Grenada?
If I understand your question well, I mean, technology meaning what technical
yes.
instruments or what. Okay.
We know we have the lighting system. With the
Right, cameras and all right.
very
Well, we definitely in the stage where we're in the technology stage and so forth, and the use installing of cameras and so forth could help reduce some of the, maybe especially for speeding, for breaking the traffic lights and so forth, the use of camera, because you may not have a police officer to patrol each and every area. So maybe by the use of camera, that may help reduce, maybe increase in our mobile patrols, and so could help increase in some of this accident that we do have. So technology these days plays a great important role, and for us in Grenada, I think that we're still behind. We're still behind in terms of technology, what is advanced more in the outer world, in the traffic management and so forth. But we do get in there. We are small, and it depends on each and every individual to pay particular attention, especially drivers. Pay particular attention to your vehicle. You pay particular attention to your surrounding. Pay particular attention to the warning signs, signals, and so forth. And I think by doing this, we could reduce the amount of accidents and so forth we have in our state. Yeah, even without the greater part of these technological equipments and so forth that they have.
Right. And even one of the road safety measures we can use also is social media. That is what we're doing now.
Well, exactly. You can educating the public through the social media and so.
And it can contribute significantly because our listeners are paying attention, and we know that they will make amends. They will also inform others. So, listeners, it's critical, it's crucial, for us to stay informed and proactive in ensuring our safety on the roads. Let's continue this enlightening discussion. And
one area maybe I didn't want to skip in terms of, as we say, what one should do on the scene of an accident. We try to reduce obstructions. So a lot of times you see accidents do occur on the road, and you will see someone will mark off the wheels and have the vehicle to clear the obstruction. And it is good, but what we would advise that the markings of the wheels should be with maybe the paint or some permanent thing that you will use. Moreover, for instance, if you're going to use maybe a stone to mark the wheels, within 5 minutes, if there's a little drizzle or rain or so, you will lose that mark and so forth. So it's important for the police to have a clear view of the position of the vehicle that has been collided. So as we say, when you immediately stop, then the position of that vehicle will determine a lot in terms of the when you're looking at the causes of the accident, at what position they were. And so based on your explanation, you could say where the vehicle ended up that particular way. So a lot of times people have accident and they will move their vehicle, and it makes it much difficult to start the investigation when the vehicle has been moved, and if you cannot have the original position of the vehicles and so. So that's why we go into measurements and do all this other stuff based on the position of the vehicle. So that will determine a lot in terms of in the investigation. So even we have accident where we call hit and run. Your vehicle might be parked, another driver would hit your vehicle and not remaining on the scene. So we call this hit and run accident. So it reported to the police, and sometimes it's a bit difficult if we have nobody to see, no eyewitness and so forth and so. So we're advising people that should you involve in an accident, accident do happen. And this accident, you pay insurance may step in to compensate that. So if you have an accident where your vehicle touch somebody else's vehicle, then just remain there, and maybe it can be sorted out. Otherwise, maybe you can even want to compensate for your own self and so. So don't make it too hard upon you that you will not want to remain on the scene and so, and to inconvenience the other person or such. Okay? So I just wanted you to go back and just touch on that a bit. Thank you.
Very good information shared. to all our listeners, and we are dealing with motor vehicle accidents, and there you hear it from Corporal DeBellot. He's letting you know that in case you have an accident, you stop. You do not have to run away. You can call the police, and there are things that he addressed that you can do. So pay very close attention to these things, and it will all enhance us, and you can be of great assistance to the RGPF.
And the law provides that the only time that you should leave the scene of the accident if there is pressing emergency. So if you have that accident whereby you have injuries and you have to attend to that person, maybe you have to take them to the hospital, maybe you have to get assistance with them, the law permits you that during the process of that pressing emergency, you can leave the scene. So even if it's your vehicle that is collided with somebody and your vehicle can drive, and then you have injury and so forth, maybe you can take that person to the hospital, that is okay. Because the law requires that to press in emergency, right, you can leave the scene to attend to that. But otherwise than that, you will have to remain at that position. Yes. Right. As you say, immediately stop and remain there. For the information.
So after an accident, we know resources play a very vital role in supporting those that are affected. All right? So what resources are available to support individuals involved in motor vehicle accidents in Grenada, both in terms of immediate assistance and long-term support? Can you?
Well, as we said, after the investigation has been concluded by the police, we prepare a comprehensive report upon that accident, and that report may be used for compensation through the insurance company. They would require a police report. We provide, for instance, the comprehensive report would comprise from the beginning of the investigation until the conclusion. If it means that it has to end in a magistrate court where one can be charged for an offense and so forth, that report will comprise of all of this. And as we say, the offenses and so forth that relate from accident, we look at driving without due attention, reckless driving, dangerous driving, driving without reasonable consideration, and so forth. These are some of the offenses that resulting from motor vehicle accident. So the police would provide a comprehensive report for whatever use you may have.
They can also aid victims in seeking medical assistance.
Yes. Because even during the investigation, you may collect all medical reports, have what sort of injuries and so forth. So, as I said, the report will comprise of all of these things, from injuries, damages to vehicle and so forth, other properties.
All right. Yes. We see that insurance, you mentioned it earlier, is a significant aspect of post-accident procedures, right? So yes, we want to understand this morning the role insurance companies play in an accident, right? So I'll ask, how do insurance companies assist individuals involved in motor vehicle accidents in our country, and what steps should be taken when dealing with insurance claims? Because what we realize, I've noticed, that persons, when they get involved in a motor vehicle accident, they will come back to the police to find out, what do I do? Do I have to go to the insurance company myself? Did the person give you the name of that particular insurance? So these are the things that's why I ask you this question. So that you can enlighten the listening public.
Yes. Well, insurance company have their own policies. And driver or the owner of vehicles would go to the insurance company to have their policy. The police in itself does not really look at what the policy of the insurance entails. They may have different coverage in the policy, but what the law requires under the Road Traffic Act, that they have a certificate of insurance. The certificate of the insurance would just tell you that this vehicle has been insured with whichever company. The policy number and the date commence and the expiry date and so forth. So the law requires that you'll have an insurance policy. So we're not interested in what the policy entails. The policy is between the insurance company and the owner of the vehicle, whatever the entails. So we have the two categories, maybe third-party insurance or the comprehensive insurance. What I know for a fact, the third-party insurance covers persons of a third party, meaning the insurance, the owner, insured, the owner, the insurance, the insured, and maybe any other person becoming part of that incident or accident, what it is, we consider as the third party. The comprehensive insurance in depth cover everything from the owners, the owner of the policy, and maybe any other persons and so. But in terms of what you ask, in terms of insurance and so, I'm not able to go into depth in what the insurance coverage should be. But according to the Road Traffic Act, what is required that you have a policy of insurance in force for any motor vehicle that is on our public road. So you must have in force a policy of insurance, and by virtue of providing a certificate, that will tell us now that you have an insurance policy in force. Okay.
Right.
Yes.
We notice also that our young drivers, we have a lot of young drivers on the nation's road, and they are speeding, right? So most times you realize they're driving reckless without due care and attention and all of that. How can we effectively educate our young drivers in Grenada?
Well, it's true that we tend sometimes to blame it on young drivers and so. But when we look at some of the accident, it happened by even when we consider young, we meaning about from 18 to about 25 because to 30, we consider to be young persons. But we do have accident with happening with especially some of the senior persons, and in terms of as we say, alcohol, it don't have no limited age in terms of what people do. But we see accident happening with the middle age, the younger people. You may find the younger ones might tend to do this in terms of speeding and so, and maybe the use of cell phone and so on. But we do have accident from the most senior persons also too. And it's minor thing would cause accident, as we say, failing to pay attention to, so maybe sometimes to the road ahead, the warning signs, as we look at a lot of steps, if you fail to pay attention to, will cause accident. So some of the especially the use of the vehicle. A lot of times you may have vehicles specified for different purpose, and we might use it for a different use. For instance, you might want to take one of the SUV vehicle and have it load up with lumber, with cement, with everything to carry. And sometimes the vehicle definitely can't carry it, but because you think that you just want to use that vehicle for that purpose, you may be able to full it cement and so forth. And that in itself could result in accident. And so the use of the vehicle also is important. Know what the use of your vehicle. And our licensing process now provide the categories as to the use of the motor vehicle. So we really have to pay attention to our surrounding, the use of the vehicle, our warning signs and so forth.
So thank you, Corporal Develop, for being here this morning. To our listeners, we say thank you for tuning in and have a pleasant day.
Yeah. Thank you too.